Okay, what's up, everybody? Good morning. Welcome to a home day edition of Morning Scone presented by Brock, the Baton Rouge Orthopedic Clinic, Parish Construction and Roofing. If you need an orthopedist, go to Brock. You need a roof? Call Parish. Unique physique and unique aesthetics and wellness. Restoredmotions.com. Boatcock Brothers Premium Cigars. Use the code MAT15, MAT15, MAT15 for 15% off your order. All right. Okay, everybody. Good morning. Hope everybody's doing great. Welcome in. Kiffin Watch, day 73. We trudge on. Interesting night last night and I have a locked on episode about it. Florida, I can tell you, has begun interviewing other candidates. There are those that believe it is sort of a concession from Florida that they are not going to land Lane Kiffin, that if he leaves Ole Miss, it'll be LSU. And so they are moving on in their search, still leaving the door open if something transpires and Lane Kiffin wants to hop back in the Florida sweepstakes. But sure sounds like Florida is acknowledging they are running behind LSU here, and they're moving on in their search out of necessity to get their top candidate after Kiffin. And was also told yesterday that Ole Miss is sort of soft launching their search. Now, I have a full episode of this on Locked On, but the complicating thing for Ole Miss is they can't offer their job or hire somebody while Lane Kiffin's still their coach. So think about how weird this is. I mean, they're preparing for their rivalry game, anticipating making the college football playoff, while also anticipating their coach leaving and trying to hire a new coach. I mean, it's screwed up. It is definitely a screwed up calendar. So I think LSU stands in a really good spot. And the only thing that would change this is the unpredictability of Lane Kiffin. But like we've talked about for a while now, y'all, if he intended to stay at Ole Miss, he'd have done it. It would have happened already. So it's Wednesday. Ole Miss and Mississippi State will be playing in a little over 48 hours from right now. And once that game is finished, we'll wait for an announcement, as I'm told, very likely Saturday morning from Ole Miss. So here we go. Also, Whit Weeks, broken ankle. Yep. So we've talked about that quite a bit here over the weeks since that injury. And try to tell y'all who were out here saying that Whit was quitting or opted out, or then Landry Kiffin ruined him. Try to tell y'all. So I was told, we can talk about it now. So I was told the Friday before the Vanderbilt game when we were in Nashville that he had a fracture. And your next question obviously would be, well, then why didn't you say so, Matt? Because it was singular. It was a singular source. And so I have worked for a month now to get someone else to confirm that, because what I didn't know is, where was the fracture? Was it a foot fracture, ankle fracture, shin fracture? Was it a hairline fracture? Was it, how serious was it? How long would the injury be? What I knew is he had a fracture. And at Vanderbilt, their optimistic timeline was that they hoped optimistically for Bama, but didn't think that was likely. Uh, they were hopeful, but not optimistic. Let me put it to you that way for Bama. And obviously, it took longer than that. He didn't play Bama, he didn't play Arkansas, and just played a couple of series last week. So we'll see how much more he might be able to run around out there this week. But I'm glad it's finally out there. I couldn't get anybody else to confirm the report. I couldn't get coaches or medical people or sports information. I couldn't get anyone else to confirm it. So I wasn't going to report it because I didn't have all the details to report it, but I knew he had a fracture. Which is why I was confident for a long time telling you he ain't coming. It ain't an ankle twist. It ain't whatever. So, but glad that's out there now and move forward. By the station, good morning. Y'all smash the like button, subscribe to the channel, Facebook, like the page, share the post. Hey, Rocky, good morning. Do you think Saban has spoken to Kiffin about LSU? Yes. Absolutely, Saban has spoken to Lane Kiffin, and he has absolutely spoken to Burge Osbury and LSU's brass as well. Absolutely. Morning, Matt. Sorry, my question was a little confusing yesterday. My point was it seems Kiffin is justifying a move because his players can freely come and go, maybe. I don't remember the question, so forgive me, but I don't think that's the case. The most revealing thing about this whole process these last few weeks is I've gotten to know more about Lane Kiffin from people who know him well, is he is not an emotional person that's going to make any type of decision based on emotion or needing to justify as such. I think he's just going to do whatever he wants. It sounds like he's a very narcissistic, self-centered person. And a lot of these actions, I think, kind of point to that. That's harsh language. I understand. But I'm just relaying to you what, like, words that people have used to describe him that know him well. I don't. Like, I'm not telling you that I think that. I'm telling you that's what people who know him have told me about him, which is, I think, only meaningful in the way that it may indicate what choice he's going to make. Hey, Dax, good morning. A lot of confidence from Florida people. They shouldn't be. Are we going to have Greg Schiano, Drinkwitz? Also, I'm with you, Sailor Mike slander will not be tolerated. The interesting thing, Dax, if you're saying that Florida people are confident, then you're talking about fans, and they shouldn't be, because they shouldn't be. I had 3 different people yesterday after AFR, yesterday evening, 3 different people tell me that Florida is sort of conceding and moving on with their search. And one of them is very closely linked with Florida. One with Ole Miss, and one is sort of, let's just say, in the agent community. They should not. Like, Florida fans can feel confident if they want. They don't know any better. The people associated with that search know what's happening. And I'm telling you, I've continued to say it. Like, whenever this is all over, I will be very happy to tell you the timeline and how everything played out. When all of this is over, we have resolution, whatever it is. LSU, Florida, staying at Ole Miss, whatever it is. I'll be happy to tell you all the timeline stuff. Hey, Kelly, good morning. Thomas, good morning. Mike, good morning. Matt, good morning. I feel like Rihanna, work. Get that paper, bruh. Corey, good morning. Josh, good morning. Real NIL young boy. Heard Jay say Gavin Guidry's having good recovery. You hear anything about Devin Sheeran? Yeah, Sheeran's pitching. If you get a chance, go check out Hunt Palmer's had some. He went to some of those fall baseball scrimmages and workouts and had some reports over at LouisianaSports.net. But Sheeran looks like he's going to be a back of the bullpen guy, and Guidry has looked really good. So that's exciting. Hey, Brad, good morning. If USC opens, could you see them making a run at Lane? I remember he always said that was his dream job. Well, he worked there, um, and they fired him. So, no. Morning, Matt and Drew. Happy Thanksgiving Eve. Happy hump day. Blessed I need coffee. He'll be all right. He'll be good to go. Be good to go. Alex, I'm not even asking a Kiffin question. I just trust you, Scone. You're always clear and mostly right. I appreciate it, brother. Well, I'm going to be let the Whit thing serve as a good example that I'm just not going to do something irresponsible. Now, I'm in a weird position because I'm a talk show host, and then because of LouisianaSports.net, also reporting as well. And it's a weird situation because there's things that I know that will craft my opinions, but I'm not yet ready to report. So it does put me in a weird in between spot. But anyway, but thank you. Hey, Billy, good morning. Good informative locked on. You dropped last night. Yeah, I've been dropping because there's just been a lot of late night crowds. So I've been dropping my morning locked on. So like today's locked on dropped last night. So a lot of people have been watching them at 10 o'clock at night or whatever, maybe over the overnight hours. So I've been dropping them overnight instead of waiting till 7 a.m. or whatever. I've been dropping multiple a day. And I will, because the episode I dropped for today is specifically about Kiffin, I'll do a podcast on Whit and all that, all the game itself. I'll record that this morning to release around lunchtime. Good morning. I know the Kelly firing for cause is BS, but what is LSU trying to say? What is LSU trying to say is their cause? Like why? I'm not going to speculate on it. Because it's the things that they're insinuating are personal in nature, and until I see that written, I'm not gonna say it. There's a lot of people who have speculated on it. You can find it on the internet, but I'm not going to be one of them. So, because it would just be slandering somebody. So if excuse me, if I see it written, then we'll talk about it. Like written notice to Kelly is what I mean. Thomas, let's see. McAfee posted he signed an extension yesterday. Took down within a few minutes. That who posted an extension? That Kiffin signed an extension? Oh, he didn't. Hey, Rex, good morning. SPC, morning. Happy early Turkey Day. I don't with good thing. I guess probably wish good things for Ole Miss. I do feel bad for the seniors. Yeah, listen, man. Yes. The entire Ole Miss team. Like, those players didn't ask for any of this. I mean, they're in the middle of a dream season, and their coaches leaving them in the middle of it. Yeah, that sucks. Yeah. I mean, there's a human element to that where you don't have to want good things for Ole Miss's program, but they're young people who've worked real hard that are playing games and doing well and having this opportunity kind of messed up. Yeah, that's a normal human thing. Oh, sorry, I did that one. Let's see. Good morning. Day 9,958 of being preserved. Club, what up, dude? Lutcher Will, good morning. Kiffin and Falk for 26 batteries football is back. Yeah, there's so I don't know if that's out there yet, but Southern is pursuing Marshall Falk to be their next head coach. I don't think that's done or anything. But that is a real thing. Falk is an assistant on Deion's staff at Colorado right now. Of course, he's from New Orleans. And what I was told last week is that if it's offered, that Deion's encouraging to take it. So that'd be interesting, man. That'd be really exciting if the Hall of Famer coaching at Southern. Did you see Groupie's contract with the Saints at $2,500 guarantees? I did not look at his contract. Let's see. Arnold, morning. Hoping you, Eric, and Drew have a great Thanksgiving. Thanks, Arnold. Same to you. Same to you and yours. Hope that for everybody. Hey, Jack. Good morning from Phoenix. Moved here 4 years ago. You keep me updated on Saints and Tigers. Love your content. Thanks, Jack. Awesome, man. Enjoy Phoenix. Uh, hey, Nico. Morning. Finished the latest Locked On episode right before this. Thank you for being there. Appreciate it. Taro, all right. I'm glad the meds are working. That's awesome, man. No doubt it was going to go well. Happy for you. Now, here's to a speedy recovery. Matt, is there an NFL coach you'd love to see at LSU? No. Hey, Abner, good morning. Happy Thanksgiving. Tiger Poppy, good morning. Brad, did you see the committee embarrass themselves last night? I did not. I do not watch the show, the ranking show. It's nothing but made for TV nonsense, and I don't watch it. So I'm proud to say I haven't watched that show in years. So I have no idea what they did, what they said. Sean, good morning. Walter, I've seen enough coaching searches. Expect the unexpected. Panda watch. Bob Schuler, good morning. Happy Thanksgiving. Kiffin can go to Bama for Halloween. If Bama loses to Auburn and they fire Kalen DeBoer, then they could hire Lincoln. Brian, good morning. Just joining. What's the latest? Will we have our ball coach come Monday? Brian, I believe that's the expectation, is that Lane Kiffin will coach the Egg Bowl Friday. Saturday morning, I believe, this is all subject to change, but as of now, I believe the plan is that Saturday morning, you'll have an announcement from Ole Miss. And I believe the expectation would be that Lane Kiffin would be in Baton Rouge Monday. No pain, no lane. The Kiffin's Crimson Corner sketch on Tosh.0 is still hilarious this day. I may have to go watch it. I think I've seen it, but it's been a long time. Morning. Is Kiffin playing LSU and Ole Miss just go back to Ole Miss? I don't think he's playing anybody. That just doesn't make any sense. Like I've heard that. Oh, Kiffin's just playing. It's troll. Like, why would you sabotage a playoff team to troll people? And if the point is he's trying to get a better contract, well, he's got a contract on the table from Ole Miss that would make him the highest paid coach in the country. So what's he trolling for? Like, don't overthink it. He is he wants to win championships. He wants legacy. And he doesn't think he can get that at Ole Miss. It's that simple. And this decision would have been far less complicated for him if Ole Miss wasn't 10-1 right now. It really is that simple. Like, if they were 8-3, this would be a no-brainer. This would already be over. Skip, what up, man? Hey, Dale, good morning. Happy Thanksgiving to you and yours. Let's see. Monday, you said Golding assembles the defensive side of the ball. Shouldn't that help Corey, considering he's a Louisiana guy in Corey's history? Maybe. What I said was Golding. I was told last week. So people talk, and in coaching circles and in the agent world, and words started to spread last week that Pete was maybe making some just exploratory calls to gauge interest from people. Hey, if we're at LSU, would you be interested in coming? Some of that was happening last week. So if it got back to me, it's, it's a thing. As far as Corey, I think Frank and Corey, for whoever the coach is, Lane, Drink, Summerall. They promote Blake Baker, whatever. I think those two are absolute musts to stay on staff. The complicated thing, as I was also told last week, is that apparently Lane likes his running backs coach and DB coach. So I don't know what you do, staff roles, whatever. But you got to find a way to keep those guys. Travis, morning, Matt. What happened to Game Coin? It's no longer shown on my Trust wallet, still part of the project or on the board. So the reason it's not showing in your Trust wallet is because the trading volume is low. So there has to be a certain threshold of trading volume for it to show up in your Trust wallet. That's why you're not seeing it there. Yeah, listen, the platform is live. So it's right here, On Fire Athletes. On Fire Athletes. So the recommendation that I make to everybody that holds Gamecoin in your wallet is go check out On Fire Athletes. Tell people about On Fire Athletes. Tell people the platform exists and they can go create a digital trading card asset or buy them. If you have high school, youth league kids that play ball, have them go play on the platform and make their own digital trading card. That's the thing that you can do that would help. But that would help grow the awareness of it. So, but yes, it looks awesome. I love it. Rocky, have we lost any more recruits? Nope. You had one flip. Nice shirt too, Matt. Like it. Thank you, Walter. Appreciate that. Got this at Carriages a few weeks ago. Billy Reed. Comfortable too. But thank you. Hey, Scott. Good morning. Thanksgiving ready. Thomas, Matt. I hope you, Drew, have a blessed, wonderful Thanksgiving. Thank you, Thomas. Same to you, man. Same to you and yours. Hey, Casey. Good morning, Matt. To all the backdoor Bama fans. Bro, what was that guy saying? So crazy. If you're an update with JT Lindsay, we'll be able to come back. We're moving on. Let me find out. Still waiting to see the O-line that BK was bullish on. What a miss. I was in the summer, maybe optimistic. In fall camp, I was less optimistic. And once the season started, reality set in. The Trey Alley situation get resolved. It has not been resolved yet. The legal situation has not been resolved, but he's playing this year at Southern. Walter, if you're going to get ruined, Landry Kiffin isn't the worst thing. Come on. Hey, David. Situation shows how much Nick Saban is correct on this issue with timelines, coaches, players being allowed to talk, move for the playoffs. The only way to fix it is what Saban said, which is to match the football calendar with the academic calendar. But that becomes really complicated because that means you would have to have the season done before the spring semester, which starts most places like the second full week of January, like January 12th. So you'd have to have the football season over by New Year's Day, which you say, well, we did that for years. Yes, but you didn't have a playoff. You just had bowl games on New Year's Day, and that was it. So you're talking about having to have now a 12-game regular season and conference championship weekend, and the first round of playoffs, quarters, semis, and championship. So 4 rounds of playoffs plus the conference championship game weekend and a 12-game regular season. There's about 17 weeks. Oh, and a bye, 18 weeks. You got to start the season in August. Or, middle of August to be able to make that work. Because they're not going to change the academic calendar for football. They're not going to start the spring semester in February because it benefits football. Well, they should. Okay, well, they're not going to. Solution to the calendar year college football scheduling issue at a 13-month of the year. Hey, Jeffrey, good morning. I'm done with Taysom taking valuable reps from Shuck. You and your family have a happy Thanksgiving. I'm with you, Jeffrey. Look, you have a goal to go situation from that far and you want to run Taysom. Okay. But man, I definitely would have liked to have seen if Tyler Shuck could have converted in goal to go situations. Tiger Poppy, the new week's fracture is same legs here last season. Yes. Will Durham transfer since Barry has taken over? I think they are a really good 1-2 punch. Still need to add one or two more in the portal. I don't know. I haven't heard about Caden Durham transferring or anything. I think a lot of that's going to determine or depend on who the coach is. Would Weeks return if Kiffin is the coach? I think I don't have any insight on that. I've not spoken to Whit Weeks about it. I think he would be wise to return either way. I mean, he definitely saw his draft stock fall this year because of the injury. He could come back next year, make NIL rev share, and play a season and improve his draft stock. Brad, not that people's personal life matters. When people say Lane reconciled with his ex-wife, assuming they're back together or not. As I understand it, they are not together. Like, they're not in a relationship. She moved to Oxford. Like, she was living with their kids in California. And she moved to Oxford. They do not, as I understand, do not live in the same home. But they are friendly. So raising their kids and friendly together, which I don't think was the case prior. Jacob, what up, dude? Good morning. Brian, will Phil Steele be on today? Best segment since Mike T. Unfortunately, no, man. We don't get Phil Steele on these Thanksgiving weeks. So unfortunately, normally we talk to Phil on Fridays. But Phil doesn't do, we're not doing a show Friday, and Phil doesn't do shows when when games are on because he's watching games. So no, unfortunately, no Phil this week. Let's see. Sunday, you said the Saints haven't had a threat since Jimmy. Michael Thomas was a threat, was a top 10 best 2 years till his injury. If he was the guy that said something about Drew, bad word. I understand. Good morning, Matt. Would it be stupid to ask if Kiffin is named head coach? Would it be possible to see him coach in a bowl game? Oh, you're saying coach in LSU's bowl game? Probably not. I that has happened before. Usually not with great success. I think Brian Kelly did that actually at Cincinnati. I vaguely remember that when Kelly went from Central Michigan to Cincinnati, he coached Cincinnati in their bowl game that year. So it does happen, generally not with great success, and I don't think it would happen here. Hey, Marianne, good morning. How do you feel about the Saints hiring Cade York? I'm hopeful that it works for Cade. Cade's only 24, man, and he's a great leg talent. I mean, as talented a kicker as LSU's ever had. I mean, he's a 4th-round pick. He's just got to work on consistency. And if he could develop that, he could be great. So I'm hopeful. And if not, look, he'll have 6 games here to figure it out. And if not, they'll be in the market for a new kicker next year. Hey, Callan, good morning. You think the Saints will draft another quarterback? I don't know, man. It kind of depends on how the next 6 weeks go. If they go 1-5 and they're picking 2nd or 3rd in the draft, and Tyler Shuck doesn't play well, then probably. Hey, Michael, good morning from the River Parishes. Good to see you there. Hey, Brian, Tyron has an interesting take on Lane. He said, if you worried about Lane spurning us one day, the same way he's doing Ole Miss now is a good take. Okay. I don't think you make or don't make a hire based on the fact that someone might leave in the future. If you have a chance to bring in a coach that's a great coach that could win for you now, you do it.
Parish Construction and Roofing. At Parish, we've got you covered. From the top of your roof, all the way down. Parish Parish Construction and Roofing. Parish Built. Parish Built. Parish Built. From your hometown. ParishBuilt.com.
What's your opinion about the committee putting Notre Dame over Miami when Miami beat them on the field after week one? They continue to show week one game doesn't matter. I don't care what the committee did until it matters. And it'll matter when they do the final rankings. So I'll give you an opinion on it then. Narcissistic, that's quite a charge. Tie fly, I'm telling you, man, the amount of people, and I want to reiterate this, like, that's not me saying it. I don't know Lane Kiffin. But the amount of people that have used that word to me in the last 2 weeks to describe Lane Kiffin is staggering. I mean, a dozen? Everybody. That is what everybody says about him. Self-centered, narcissistic, the center of his own universe, the world revolves around him, like all that stuff. Basically reiterating that and the reason that converse happened with a bunch of people is saying that, like, all this conversation about, will he make a decision because Layla's family's from Gainesville or where Knox plays, they're like, none of that will matter a lick. I'm like, okay. It would to you and me, because, like, normal considerate humans would, but they're like, not him. And that's why I thought it was so interesting at his press conference Monday when he gave that long answer about speaking at his dad's funeral and talking about moving around so much when they were kids. You remember that? He said, I always wondered, why we moved around so much because it was hard on us as kids. And but I went to my dad's funeral and all the people there were, from all the different stops. And I realized he touched all these different people that he never would have been able to if he didn't make all those moves. And it was part of God's plan. I mean, I think that was very revealing to me as sort of Lane Kiffin's justification for moving. And I think that's why he's going to move. Morning, day 506, Lane Kiffin saga. Craig Strog, hopefully we get an answer soon on LSU's next coach by Monday. Let's go get our coach. Any chance Lane brings his quarterback with him? So Chambliss, who really struggled in the last few weeks, by the way, is a senior. I don't know if he can get more eligibility because he wasn't JUCO. He was Division II, which is still governed by the NCAA, whereas JUCO is not. So I don't know that he has any more eligibility. If we don't get Lane, please don't get Eli. He's not worth the money we'd be paying him. I agree with you, but I do believe that Eli Drinkwitz is LSU's number 2 option. And I was also told last night that Missouri is preparing a contract extension for Eli Drinkwitz. I don't think it's going to be a significant raise, but they're putting an extension on the table to try to keep him there. Anyway, something to keep an eye on here in the coming days. Morning, Matt. Hope LSU doesn't miss out on a really good coach that could be here for decades if they lose Kiffin. Summerall and Dillingham sure feel like home runs. I've heard maybe some uneven stuff about Dillingham, which I'd be fine with him, by the way. But Summerall is the one I think that's going to have a multitude of options. And I believe that Florida is going to make John Summerall their number 1 target. I know last week there was the thing about him, like he was going to meet with them and then they canceled the meeting. And then, Summerall's agent said there was never really a meeting and whatever. But I do believe Ole Miss, Florida, and Auburn are all going to make John Summerall their number 1 target, and he is going to have 3 really good options. Hey, Rocky, let's see. If a girl leaves her husband to come be with you, at some point she's going to do the same to you. This is why I can't get excited about Kiffin as much as I want to be. Yet coaching is transient. That's different. Every coach that you hire was working somewhere else. Brian Kelly was at Notre Dame. Matt Ogeron was here, but Les Miles was at Oklahoma State. Nick Saban was at Michigan State. Jerry DiNardo was at Vanderbilt. It's the nature of the business. Like, you're not going to hire someone who's unemployed, so someone is going to leave the job they're currently at to take your job. That's the nature of the business. Matt, assuming it's fair, Lane doesn't interview with Woodward because of the snub 4 years ago. If we get Lane, would you look differently at letting Woodward go? No, I would not. I think it was a very bad decision that created a lot of unrest at LSU unnecessarily. And I think the job is more than one hire. Although it's the thing most people judge ADs by. Must admit, I'm impressed by Kyle Williams, how he's developed the interior D line. He brings stability to the coaching position. Hope him, Corey, and Frank are retained. Yeah, if they retain Kyle, I think it's great. I think he's done a really good job. Hey, Jeffrey, is it possible LSU's already has its answer from Kiffin? Yes, and I believe they do. However, the point I've made over and over again is any verbal commitment is not binding. So until you have a signed binding agreement, you don't have a deal. Why do you think I was so confident on Friday? Lowell, good morning. Jeremy, do you think Lane would keep Blake Baker? I know that's the question everybody wants to know. I think it really depends on a couple things. Number one, if Pete Golding wants to come with Lane to LSU, then Pete Golding is going to come to LSU and be the defensive coordinator. That's complicated because, as I understand it, Pete Golding's wife is from North Mississippi and would probably want to stay there, whereas Golding may prefer to come back closer to his home, and he's from Hammond. The other part of it, too, is I don't think it necessarily is going to matter because I think there's a really good chance Blake Baker is the next head coach at Tulane because John Summerall is going to get a big-time job. Florida, Ole Miss, Auburn. I think he's going to get one of those jobs. And Tulane's going to be open, and I think Blake Baker will be at or near the top of the Tulane list. A year ago when it looked like Summerall was going to be the North Carolina coach, Baker was going to be in the mix at Tulane. So there's no reason to think he wouldn't be in the mix there. Well, Blake Baker played at Tulane and obviously, has great ties to Louisiana, and his wife is from Mandeville. So that makes a lot of sense. So I don't know that Blake Baker's back next year anyway, because I think there's a really good shot he's the head coach at Tulane. Hey, Philip, Locked on Ole Miss guy is really high on Florida. It seems like he doesn't want Kiffin to go to LSU. Yeah, whatever. Yeah. I know Kiffin won't coach the playoffs. What if they sneak into the SEC championship? That's a really good question. I know Kiffin's going to want to coach. He wants to coach his team throughout the year. They're just not going to let him. And I think, like I mentioned yesterday, the more complicated thing for Ole Miss is that they need to start their coaching search. And they can't offer their job to someone while Lane Kiffin is still coaching. And if they want to hire John Summerall, which I think they do, they run the risk of John Summerall going to Auburn or Florida and not having a chance to hire the guy that they want. I'll be so happy when this is over because I'm tired of Ole Miss and Florida fans on my Twitter. Tell me about it. Good morning, Matt. You're the go-to for LSU News. Thanks. You got it, man. Thanks for being there. Appreciate you hanging out. Good morning. Hey, Michael, good morning. Can't wait to sit around the fire and hear all the stories from Uncle Scone about the good old days. Happy Thanksgiving. Drinking a lot of coffee. Might come for a home visit. I need my home without my cousin's foolishness. I might come home for visits. Sorry. Hey, Phil, morning from Asheville. Enjoy listening to you. Happy Thanksgiving. Asheville, beautiful, man. Happy Thanksgiving. Happy Thanksgiving to everybody. Please smash the like button if you would subscribe to the channel. You mentioned post-game Perkins was out of eligibility. No, someone corrected me on this, so thank you. You're right. He played in 4 games last year, so technically he does still qualify for a red shirt from last year. Someone corrected me on that earlier this week, so yes, I was wrong on that. So he could come back, but given the fact that he participated in Senior Day festivities, I'm going to assume that he's going to go. Hey, Mark, can Tulane football make the college football playoff? Yeah, they can. Stone Musso, love you, Scone. Glad we have someone who is on top of this media circus. Stone Musso. It is Bayou Classic Week. Mr. Beast, 1313, morning from Illinois. Playoff ranking shows are depressing. Yeah, man. I would encourage you all to do what I do, which is just don't watch the playoff show. I don't watch it. I don't talk about it. None of it matters until the final ranking. So whatever. They're going to do whatever they want. Hey, CJ, bird in the hand. Kiffin's pretty dang close to a natty chance. Walk away before the season ends in hopes the new home gets him that close again. I get that, CJ. I think he also knows his team and knows this team's not winning a championship. So they've had a great season and they're going to make the playoff and should be in the playoff because they've had a great season, but they're not going to win a national championship. So the question is, do you want to make a 12-team playoff or do you want to win a national championship? And where do you think is your better opportunity to do that? Apathy. I hate that I had to learn about Ole Miss way more than I ever wanted because of this process. I never want to hear about Keith Carter again. Will Nussmeier be a late round pick? I think for Nussmeier, he's got a great opportunity with the combine and pro day and Senior Bowl and all that stuff. Get healthy, go do the interview process. I think NFL teams aren't going to forget about the good tape he put out last year. But he's just going to have a lot to prove in the pre-draft process. Let's see. LSU writers claim Florida is conceding and moving on because they're vetting other candidates as backup while LSU's not. Means absolutely nothing besides the point LSU's not ready to pivot. Unless if LSU has already done all that. And you're actually wrong. It means a lot more. And I'll be able to tell you much more whenever it's all done. But yesterday was a pretty significant day. And Florida is effectively conceding. Trivia, good morning. I don't get notifications for some reason. Can you start sending tweets again before you go live? Hey, turn notifications off and turn them back on. See if that helps. Matt, revisionist history. What happens if LSU if Miles left for Michigan? Who would have been on LSU's list in 07? I don't know. I'd have to go back and that's been so long. I don't even remember who would have been on LSU's list if Miles had left. Morning, Matt from Rhode Island. You know the road, Northern Island. My source, Cody, said Kiffin, Florida's a done deal. Tell Cody to share his deets. Jonathan, good morning. Ronnie, heard you say you had issues with good morning? Oh, you had issues with community app. Didn't catch the whole thing. What happened? So we're back. We're good. So community had that's my text platform. They had suspended my long story, and I've been on many calls with them and we've moved through it. But the way they used to structure their business was per user. So the more users I had on my app, the more I had to pay. Because more that they had to host. Well, they went away from that model and went to a segment model where, depending on how many texts you send, that's how much you pay. Well, I had been grandfathered in under my old plan, but because they changed it, they were losing money on my account. So without telling me, they just turned off my account, which happened the week Brian Kelly got fired. I was livid. I mean, you can imagine, like that week, Brian Kelly gets fired, the governor, all the stuff that week, they turned off my account. So I was like fury, like flames out of my eyes at these people. The CEO of the company and I ended up having a conversation, and he saved my business. With them, he apologized profusely for how it was handled, owned it, explained all the stuff to me. He and I got on a Zoom, went through their whole model, what type of plan I would need, makes sense. So I'm going to end up paying a lot more, but for that line, it's going to cost me about $1,000 a month, by the way. I'm going to end up spending like $12,000 a year, and I'm going to write it off, but as a business expense, but still, like I got to pay $12,000 for the year for that text app, but it's something that I think is very valuable. I want to keep it. So, but that's what happened with community. Mark, Pelicans host the Grizzlies tonight. Concerned the Pelicans homes crowds? No. Wait, hang on. What happened here? Kiffin's a good coach. Everywhere he's ever been ended up a dumpster fire, including this year. Circus coming to Baton Rouge, one and well either. Hope I'm wrong. Love LSU. Repeat every stop. Wasn't a dumpster fire at FAU. Matt, how and why are college football and pro football so different in reporting the extent of player injuries, their ability to play? So, the NFL mandates an injury report every week. In college, like the SEC this year started their availability report. And I remember I asked Brian Kelly this when he first disclosed Nuss's torso thing, right? I think that was after Florida. And I went and caught him after his press conference and said, hey, like Nuss has this thing, but y'all didn't disclose it on the injury report or the availability report. He said, it only has to be on the availability report if they don't practice or if they're limited in practice. So and he wasn't limited. And so that becomes now to anyone's own discretion. Well, what does that mean? If you, let's say he doesn't do certain things in practice, say, well, we weren't going to have him do that today anyway. So that's the difference. It's just a totally different standard. That's only in SEC games too, by the way. Morning, Scone. I know Michael Van Buren has struggles with accuracy. Some of that could be O-line struggles. Do you think Kiffin could work with him? Sure, I think Kiffin could work with him. But I also there we go. Kiffin could work with him, but I also pointed out to you during camp, there were a lot of drills they were doing against air where Michael Van Buren was inaccurate. Like, don't put that solely on the offensive line. Hey, Brian, great article. Feel bad for weeks. Glad he's back, though, man. Perseverance. Would Kiffin get a ring if Ole Miss went to win the national championship? I'm sure, but they won't. Born map to San Diego. Love the show. Thanks, Antonio. Brian, believe nothing, expect consider. Believe nothing, consider everything. Thomas, there we go. Morning, Matt. Thank you for your programs. Keep us updated, informed, and entertained. Thank you. Appreciate that very much, Leslie. Very kind of you. Thanks for being there. Happy Thanksgiving. Want to say you're a great guy and father. I hate Missouri, but you give me a piece of home. Hope your family enjoys each other. I've lost so many. Enjoy the day. Same to you, man. Happy Thanksgiving, everybody, man. Thanks for the kind words. Hey, Brian. Good morning. Ryan, morning, Matt. North Texas coach took the Oklahoma State job. Yep, told you that yesterday. But that's also why, by the way, that's a great example of why Ole Miss needs an answer from Kiffin and needs to move, because the candidate pool is thinning out, right? I mean, James Franklin's already taken the Virginia Tech job. Eric Morris just took the Oklahoma State job. So, like, what if John Summerall this weekend takes the Florida job, hypothetically? Like, your candidate pool's thinning out. Love when Tosh dressed like Lane. I vaguely remember that. I got to go watch that again. Matt, look forward to hearing from you first thing Saturday morning. Happy Thanksgiving to you and your family. Yeah. Again, my as of yesterday, again, all this is subject to change. They'll play the Egg Bowl Friday. I believe Ole Miss is going to release their statement on Kiffin's future, or announce however they're going to do it, and statements or whatever, announce Kiffin's future plan Saturday morning. Now, that's provided it doesn't leak, which it could certainly leak before then. No, the Kiffin. Someone asked me yesterday, "Hey man, I heard the Kiffins bought a house." No, factually inaccurate. Is Kiffin a journalist-friendly coach regarding interviews and access traditionally? It's a good question, Mark. I don't think so. Like, he doesn't do interviews. He doesn't do access, which changes my job. I mean, I really enjoyed. I mean, Kelly gave us a ton of practice access. I love that. I don't think we're going to get any of that. So, Scone, if Kiffin does end up coming to LSU, I think Ole Miss LSU game will have more of a rivalry feel to it finally. Oh gosh, next year in Oxford. If Lane does end up here next year back in Oxford, he's completely torn, wants to move on, wants to coach playoffs as well. That's true. I don't think he's torn about leaving. I think he's torn about the timing. Cole, good morning. Feels like Penn State's flying under the radar with their coaching search. I do have a feeling they have a big time coach in mind that they're keeping internal. Perhaps, yeah. Hey, Dylan, if Kiffin is in BR Monday or soon thereafter, would he be stepping in to coach the bowl game? Someone asked that earlier. I don't think so. I haven't heard that. I think what they would probably like to do is get their coach signed and then worry about a bowl game. But I do not think so. What if Lane decides not to give an answer Saturday morning, wants to continue to coach, or waiting for Ole Miss to fire him? That is the basis of one of the points of my Locked On podcast that's released right now, which is the complicating factor of the timing. So Ole Miss needs to begin their search in earnest, but they can't offer their job or hire someone while Kiffin is still employed. If they fire Lane Kiffin, they'd owe him $36 million. And he does not have mitigation in his contract, by the way. So it's not offset by a new job that he gets. So don't think, oh, well, he'd get hired by LSU and then his salary, his buyout would go away because of the LSU salary. He has no mitigation. So they're not going to fire him because they don't want to pay him $36 million. They need him to leave, but he doesn't want to leave because he wants to coach his team. So how do they manage this? Do they put him on leave? Do they suspend him? I don't know. And I'm telling you, that's a very real concern over there. And I had that conversation, but I had about an hour-long conversation yesterday morning, let's say with someone very close to and familiar with the inner workings of the Ole Miss athletic department. That is a very real thing over there right now. Like, they're hoping he just leaves. But he doesn't want to. And he wants them to force him out. So then publicly he can say, yeah, I didn't want to leave. I wanted to coach my team in the playoff. They wouldn't let me. It's a weird, that is the most complicated factor right now, is that timing. Christopher, good morning. Happy Thanksgiving. Go Tigers. Hey, Corey, good morning. I'm with you on Drinkwitz. Chance, heard yesterday Jed Fish and Howard Roseman were roommates, frat brothers in Florida. They're great friends still. Who knew? Well, the Fish, I didn't know that he and Roseman were roommates, but I knew Fish went to Florida. I mean, that's one of the reasons that he's kind of been linked to a lot of jobs here in the Southeast. Trivia, it'd be stupid for Lane to troll if he starts losing at Ole Miss and gets fired. No one would touch him after. Hey, Peyton, good morning. Thank you for taking the time out of your day. Thanks for watching. I wouldn't be here if y'all weren't watching. Got 600 people watching on this morning. So please smash the like button if you would subscribe to the channel. If Kiffin comes, who do you think he hires for strength and conditioning coach? He's not bringing Moffitt back. I love this guy keeps lying to y'all. I hope Lane calls him out. Who, me? I would love for you to tell me what I'm lying about. I mean, I'm 30 minutes behind on comments. Are you doing morning scone tomorrow? I mean, as long as the sun rises. I missed morning scone in today's episode 2,800. What's today's episode? 2,861. I ain't missed a day. I mean, this is 2,861 consecutive days. You think I ain't gonna be here tomorrow? Anyway. Have you heard anything about the Alabama job? Nope. I mean, I know that there's some there was some small paper last week or maybe over the weekend that had Kalen DeBoer on Penn State's list. I don't know that there's any validity to that. I think that becomes more complicated if Alabama loses this weekend to Auburn. That would be amazing. And then maybe do they force him out and get reactive? I don't know, but maybe. That's the thing that I think people have said, like, if play that hypothetical. Again, this is just hypothetical. I have not heard this from anyone credible, just to be very clear. I have not heard this from a soul that I would deem credible. This feels like internet rumor message board stuff. Twitter, all that stuff. That Alabama loses, they fire DeBoer, push DeBoer out, DeBoer goes to Penn State, Bama opens up, Bama would pursue Kiffin. Like, sure. In that case, I think Lane would go to Bama over LSU. Which is worse, the 23 defense or the 25 offense? 23 defense. Hey, babe. 1 hour air is coming at 9. Yeah, they're going to be here in about 20 minutes. I'm gonna have them start in the hall to do that unit. No, they're doing both. I asked. Yeah. Yeah, I can. Okay. Brett, the school normally make an official statement on a coach leaving. North Texas did it yesterday with their coach taking the Oklahoma State job, Eric Morris. ESPN reported that Mora informed his staff that he's taking the Colorado State job, another hot name off the board. Florida fans say we're being too loud here. What's your thought, Matt? I think Florida fans don't know what's happening. And I think there's local Florida media that doesn't know either. As I've said, I think they're about 10 to 14 days behind the news cycle. So is to say, again, hopefully after Saturday, I can give you this full timeline and tell you everything that I know. Layla Kiffin came here on a Monday. The week before that, I believe there were things that happened that led a lot of people in Gainesville to believe Lane Kiffin was going to be their coach. And I agree with him, by the way. Like, I would have thought the same thing based on all that. That's why that weekend, if you remember, it's just 2 weekends ago, you saw the done deal stuff, Kiffin to Florida done deal 2 weeks ago. Well, remember also that weekend is when I said, Kiffin to Florida ain't done. And Kiffin to LSU is very, very, very much in play. I think this is it. Hang on. So this was the day before Layla Kiffin came. This is when all the Lane Kiffin to Florida was done. Lane Kiffin to Florida is far from a done deal. And Lane Kiffin to LSU is very, very, very much in play. Okay, so that was the weekend when it was 2 weekends ago when all the Florida people were going done deal. And I was like, because at that point when I recorded that, I knew Layla Kiffin was coming to Baton Rouge on Monday. And there's no way Lane to Florida was a done deal if Layla Kiffin was coming to Baton Rouge on Monday. So that was when I did that. So my point is, I think they a lot of people who cover Florida are finding out now what happened then, before that, that made them think it was a done deal. That's my intimation here. I will be able to explain in more detail, hopefully Saturday. All right, what else we got? Unfortunately, I do not think this is the case. I do think that Eli Drinkwitz is LSU's plan B if they do not land Lane Kiffin. So let's hope they land Lane Kiffin. Do you think Lane Kiffin has a higher ceiling than Miles at LSU? Absolutely. The thing that I really the thing that I really want is a head coach that is a specialist on one side of the ball. Look at Brent Venables right now. Oklahoma offensively has really struggled. And part of it we could say was John Mateer's hand injury. He's healthy now, and they're still not very good on offense. But they're about to make the playoff because they are elite on defense, special teams, and good enough on offense, and they're going to get in the playoff. Like, when Lane Kiffin, wherever he goes, he's always going to have good offenses. Like, the CEO model of put a CEO and hire good assistants, like, I'm not about that. Like, give me a coach that's a specialist on one side of the ball, which LSU hasn't had since Nick Saban. Because Nick, as long as Nick is here, his defenses were always going to be great. Lane gives you that. He gives you that as long as he's here, you know your offenses are going to be good. All right. How much of a possibility that he stays at Ole Miss? The locker room is fractured. Why would they want him back? So, I mean, I have said this since the weekend. So late last week, when the meeting happened on Friday with Kiffin, the chancellor, and Keith Carter. Look, I said this on air. I don't mind saying it here. I know there are players that that there are players that went to Keith Carter wanting Kiffin not to be retained. They did not want him to coach the Egg Bowl. I don't know that you'll ever get anybody to acknowledge that on the record. Maybe that's something 10 years from now when people come back and tell the story, you'll hear it. But I have it on it. It's good info. It's credible. It happened. So I do think I know there is a fracture where there are some players that are loyal to Kiffin and want him to be there, and others who are tired of the circus and want him out. Now, you asked, what's the possibility that he stays? That just feels like that ship has sailed. Not from my opinion. Like, I'm talking about the people I've spoken with at Ole Miss. I think emotionally they have moved on. They have emotionally moved on, acknowledging like he's done this, he's left us in this moment. We don't want him back. They've checked out. It's just a matter of how does the season finish. So, I mean, I just don't see that path. I mean, for him to stay there. I mean, can you imagine, like, what would that even look like? Like, if he what would that look like? What's Ole Miss offense ranked this year? Ole Miss is 5th in the country in pass yards, 31st in rushing yards, and 13th in scoring at 37 points per game. It's pretty good. Pretty good. Watching the past few days, anybody outside of your opinion doesn't matter. You have blinders on to UF's info. It's showing. It'll definitely show come Saturday. False information from LSU. See, what you don't understand, Nick, and Nick, I'm going to go ahead and guess that you're a Florida guy. And welcome, by the way. What you don't understand is it's not LSU info. I would say the most pivotal piece of information I got was yesterday from someone very close to the situation in Florida who conceded that, yeah, he's not coming here. So whenever you're hearing people internally at Florida say the same thing, that you're hearing people at Ole Miss say, and agents and coaches, you can put the piece of the puzzle together, but that's fine. There's a big difference between reporting and giving an opinion. Like, my opinion is I think LSU may not score against Oklahoma. That's an opinion. Saying Florida has begun interviewing other candidates and Ole Miss has soft launched their search, that's not an opinion. I'm reporting that based on credible information I've gotten within those programs that those things are happening. Just like I told you that weekend before Layla Kiffin's visit that Kiffin to Florida was far from a done deal and LSU is very much in play, and I was right, by the way. Just like I told y'all throughout last week, they were going to meet on Friday. And then of that meeting, one of two things were going to happen. Either he was going to reaffirm and they were going to announce an extension, or they were going to let him coach the Egg Bowl, announcer making an announcement after the Egg Bowl, and that happened. See, Nick, I've been right a lot. So you could choose to believe what you want. You can seek affirmation if you want it. But there's a big difference between affirmation and information. And go find credible sources. If you don't deem me credible, fine. But I've been right all along. I've been right on this whole thing all the way along. But it's up to you. And I've also said over and over again that it's never done until the ink is dry and someone's being introduced at a podium. So it could still change. And if it does, I'll let you know what I hear. I'll take the coaching position for $20 and an autograph from Charles Alexander. Man, you don't want that job for $20, man. You don't want the headaches. All right, please smash the like button if you would. Subscribe to the channel, Facebook, like the page, share the post. Remember, all of our sponsors are linked in the description on YouTube. Get them tagged on Facebook as well. If you need an orthopedist, go to Brock. You need a roof, give us a shot at Parrish, parrishbuilt.com, parrishbuilt.com. Unique physique and unique aesthetics and wellness. Restored Motions, restoredmotions.com. Remember, Bocock Brothers Premium Cigars. Use the code MAT15, MAT15, MAT15 for 15% off your order. Great officially licensed cigars, great gifts. You want those LSU cigars, the 100 Year of Tiger Stadium cigars, the LSU baseball cigars in the pinstripe box. Awesome stuff. Check it out. Ole Miss could have grabbed John Summerall. They better. I think that's their number one choice. But as I've said, the complicating factor at Ole Miss is they still have a coach. And so they can't go offer their job. And so they're worried there that Florida or Auburn may scoop Summerall before they have an opportunity to hire him. That's a real thing. Hey, Bill, good morning. My dog and Juice are BFFs. Hey, Carl the Cat. What up, man? Good to see you. Are you into fragrances like whiskey and shoes? If so, what's your go-to? Not really. No. Erica did buy me a bottle of cologne, maybe like for Father's Day or something. But no, I'm not. Not. Let's see. Or maybe about done, y'all. Clayton, as a fan, who should you hope wins the Egg Bowl? If you want Lane Kiffin, pull from Mississippi State. Makes it easier for him to exit if they lose. Yeah, this is true. I don't know if you lose them all, but Pickett going into the portal, I think, could be real. Haven Finney from Florida, I think, could be real. He said very much that the reason he's here is Corey. Anyway. Anything else? Let's see. Oh. We have an Ole Miss guy that thinks he's not leaving. Greatest troll job in history. With all the exclamation points. That helps make it real, by the way, Daniel. All the exclamation points help make it real. I wish Daniel could see my call log. But Daniel said it's true. Fans. Hour and 12 minutes I've been hanging out with y'all. Okay. Let's wrap this up. River City's 1 hour air is coming to my house, by the way. 752-0001. 752-0001. Big yellow vans and trucks. Got to get our heater safety check. Practice what I preach. All right, let's get out of here. Y'all have a good day. Locked on LSU is live if you want to catch the latest. AFR at 3.